Hey Science Ninjas, welcome to my kitchen laboratory. If you remember earlier in the year when we were doing chemistry, we talked about how your kitchen is kind of like a scientific laboratory right in your very own house. Now, the thing specifically that I'm talking about is the oven. Your oven is a chemical reaction chamber. You just never knew that before you had chemistry class. So, one thing that you could do while we're all stuck at home is ask your family's permission and see, can you do some cooking projects? So I tried to think of a really simple one that our family likes to do here at our house. So instead of using corn chips, which aren't very good for you, we often use brown rice chips. Right? These are these kind of like tortilla-like things and everything. You can freeze them, you can keep them in the refrigerator and everything like that. And if you try to eat them just like this, I gotta be honest, they're not very good. But what we discovered is, if you do a little chemical reaction with them, they turn out pretty well. So, first step is you take them out of the baggie. I've already got a couple of them started right here. And you just put them on trays. So let me get an extra one out. One thing that we try to do to get a little bit more bang for your buck space-wise is we determine that if you kind of like fold them and break them apart, you can actually fit, a couple extras on there and everything like this. Then what you're gonna do is use some oil, right? So you use some oil to oil the future chips up and everything. So we put a little oil on this guy, and this one over here, this one over here, and then you use the brush to lube them down. Sorry about that. And so you're gonna use the brush to lube them all down and everything. Like so, cover them with oil. The next step is the spices. Yeah, you want to come in and help? You don't have to.
No, yeah, I think I'm good. I just wanted to heat up my hot pad.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't want to make like a lot of noise. Oh, you can talk.
Okay. For the spices that we're going to use today, we'll start with a little bit of salt right here. So you put some salt on them. We'll go with a little bit of onion powder. Some flavor. And we'll kind of wrap it up with a little bit of garlic powder right here. You can use all kinds of different spices as well. Some of my kids actually like to try to make these taste like Doritos by putting some different cheeses and things like that on them and everything. To make them taste twice as good, the next step is flip your chips over, add a little extra oil again as before. Oops. Rub the oil in, kind of massage it in here with our cooking paintbrush like thing. And then you repeat as before. Put some salt on them, put some garlic powder on them, put some onion powder on them. Now it's time for the chemical reactions. Next, what we'll do is put these future brown rice chips into the oven. I have them cooking at 450 degrees, and this will last for about 10 minutes, maybe a few minutes more than that, while the chemical reaction occurs. All right, it's been about 10 minutes. Just look at that beautiful chemical reaction that happened. You can tell that a chemical reaction happened because they've changed. No longer is that white flaky pastry that was there before. Now it's a crunchy, hard material. And just like we learned in class, there's nothing you can do to get them back the way they used to be. Once the chemical reaction has happened, in this case, brought on by the heat in the oven, there's no way that you can get it back to the way that the tortilla chips were before. All right, to summarize, we've got our chips here that have undergone a chemical reaction. They started out looking like these right here, and while you can do physical changes, like tearing them, right, they're still the same material. But once we have these that have undergone that chemical reaction, there's no way that we can get the material back, the same material, to look like these again and everything. Right, so it's a chemical reaction. And it's a tasty chemical reaction because you can dip them in things like hummus, or you can dip them in guacamole, or things like that. That is a great chemical reaction. Do science always.